Listen, startup funding isn't some clean spreadsheet game where the best idea wins and the smartest pitch closes the round overnight. It's messy, chaotic, and honestly, it's brutal. You're grinding, you're hustling, pouring sweat and sanity into your vision, but the money, it doesn't come just because you've got a killer deck. It comes from moves nobody talks about loud enough, moves that catch everyone off guard. You feel stuck, right? Frustrated watching other founders get funding for ideas that barely make sense, while you're cranking solid tech, real innovation, and barely get a call. Here's the cold truth. Investors don't just bet on ideas, they bet on signals. And most founders waste months trying to push solutions or tech specs when what truly gets the frenzy going is something way more subtle, way less obvious. Stop wasting time begging for attention. Instead, own the narrative before anyone else even knows your name. Find the few people who already get you and obsessively build those connections. Not the generic networking events that feel like a trap, but deep strategic relationships where you give, you help first, you set yourself as indispensable. That's your turbo. The frenzy starts there. You need to attack your visibility differently. Forget the usual media blitz. Instead, drop something real and raw that makes your story undeniable. A bold move that's so off script, it literally forces people to lean in. Launch with data nobody else has, or share a real painful failure before you flash success. Vulnerability builds trust faster than slick marketing. When you flip the script like this, investors don't feel like they're risking cash on a bet. They feel like they're buying into a movement they don't want to miss. Another lethal secret? Use the chaos around you. When markets shift, when headlines scream doom, most freeze. Don't. Show you're the one sprinting forward while others hesitate. Align your product directly against current, loud market pain points. Make it obvious. This is the solution money has no choice but to pour into. Then announce partnerships, early traction, or even just a strategic pilot, not just a promise, but proof you're already in the trenches. Most founders feel isolated. That's the trap. That's pain bleeding from being told to work harder or be patient. Screw that. The reality? You need to build a mini army, select a handful of allies with the power and motivation to open doors you can't reach alone. Investors watch who shows up in your corner. If you roll solo, you signal risk. Rally partners, advisors, anyone who can vouch loudly. This energy is contagious and pulls funding faster than cold emails ever will. And here's a brutal one. Stop worshiping your product before you worship the process. The best funding frenzy happens when you show relentless discipline, when you adjust at speed, when you prove you don't just have an idea, but lead a machine that runs under pressure. Investors don't fund dreams. They fund rare grit and sharp execution. If you're stuck tinkering endlessly with features without showing traction or scalability, your obsession is your enemy. Finally, this isn't about luck or waiting for market magic. It's about you taking ownership of the entire narrative, your story, your connections, your timing. Every move must scream readiness, urgency, and unshakable confidence. When you build that, the funding frenzy doesn't just knock on your door, it demands entry. So get ruthless. Start cutting away everything that doesn't bring you closer to those few real believers. Find your inner circle and feed them relentlessly with truth, proof, and momentum. Find the pain points loudest today and hammer them with clarity and speed. Show you're not just another hopeful founder, but the one who's unbreakable under fire. This game's brutal because no one owes you a dime. But if you play these unexpected moves right, switching focus from idea to network, vulnerability to proof, hustle to strategy, you won't just chase funding. You'll trigger a storm of capital knocking down the doors before you even finish your pitch. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check the featured link to discover more.